All right, so here's a couple more. Okay, so this is Jesus being crucified. Again, halo and a cross. Okay, it's not a tube. Okay, it's a halo and a cross. Okay, and he's crucified. And if you know the stories in the Bible, I don't know too much, but for the sake of teaching art history, I should. And this is the scene of his crucifixion, but it's not right after he's crucified. It's like 3 days after he's crucified, and he's most likely dead already. And that's why he's bleeding from his rib cage, his torso, because they took this spear called the spear of Longinus, and then they pierced him in the torso, okay, to make sure he's dead, and now he's bleeding from his torso. And I think that's like 3 days after his crucifixion. Okay, and then yeah, these people are mourning. Okay, and then here's some angels to take him away. All right, and then in this one, I don't really know what this scene depicts, but they have halos. They don't have crosses and halos, just halos. So maybe these people are just holy people, but not Jesus. Okay, some holy people. Maybe a priest. I mean, they're all holding crosses. If they're holding crosses like this is done. This means that these people existed after the death of Christ. Okay, because the cross, the icon, the symbol of the cross didn't exist until he was crucified. Okay, so they're holding crosses to symbolize him. Okay, and here's some more. This is a mosaic. Again, a lot of gold, and this may be Jesus as a child, and then this may be Mary. Okay, so there's a halo around Mary, but no cross, but there's a halo around Jesus, and then there's also a cross. Okay, and then another one of Jesus right here, halo, cross. Okay, and then some four figures, they may be angels. And then this one, is this Jesus? No, it's not, because he has a halo, but he doesn't have a cross. Okay, so this may be someone who was anointed, maybe a king, or a different holy figure. Again, a mosaic. Okay, you can see that it's a mosaic because it uses tiles and lots of gold. Okay, all right, so let's move on to Islamic art. So we are covering Islamic art and Byzantine art at the same time because they kind of existed around the same time. While Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, they all existed at the same time. They exist now, but they also came from the same source. Like Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, they all worship the same God. The only difference is that their holy figures are different. Okay, so it's all one and the same belief. There was this event called the Crusades, and the Christian nations basically started conquering eastward into Islamic territory, and then there was the counter crusades in which the Muslims, the Islamic countries, would push westward, and they actually pushed all the way to Spain. So Spain was an Islamic country at one point, and then it was again conquered back. Okay, so there was a lot of pushing back and forth between Christianity and Islam. Okay, so let's talk about Islamic art. Okay, so what is a geometric pattern? Okay, a geometric pattern is a regularity and repetition in order of any variable, including shape, size, color, and quantity. That means it has to repeat. If it doesn't repeat and if it's not regular, is it considered a geometric pattern? Is it considered a pattern at all? No, a pattern requires repetition. Okay, and a pattern may include more than one variable. Okay, what's a variable in this context? A variable is anything that can change. It's just like math. Okay, if you have a pattern, okay, and then you have a circle, okay, and then the next repetition you have a bigger circle, okay, that's one variable. It's the size of the circle. That's the variable, right? So patterns need variables. Patterns can range from simple geometric patterns to complex geometric patterns, which means you can get as simple as just a line that is changing thickness to something that involves changing the size, changing the angle, changing color, changing everything. Many, many different variables. Okay, so let's talk about Islamic art. So Islamic art generally starts in 7th century CE. Okay, so this is definitely around the time when the Byzantine Empire was also a thing. Okay, and it includes Islamic calligraphy and geometric patterns. Okay, and then less representation and more abstraction. Okay, so we're going to see not figures. We're not going to see any figures, actually. We're not going to see figures of people. We're not going to see any holy people portrayed with halos or crosses or any other iconography. It's mostly abstract. Okay, abstract meaning it doesn't reflect representational, things that exist in real life. Okay, so when we say representational art, it means art that represents objects or things that exist in real life. When we say abstract art, we're referring to something that doesn't reflect visually to real life. Okay, and it's more of a portrayal of feeling or geometry, or it can be shapes, it can be color, it can be anything. Okay, and then they use patterns and repetition, okay, because it symbolized the infinite nature of God. Okay, God, the same God in Christianity, which is the Tetragrammaton, Yahweh, or in Islamic countries, in Islamic countries they would call God Allah, right? But it's the same word. It's the same God. Okay, and the patterns and repetitions, okay, those are symbolic of God. Okay, that's why they used so many patterns, because they believed that Allah or God is far-reaching and is infinite. Okay, so there's no iconography or actual depiction of God, or in Christianity, Jesus, right? Okay, so here's some examples. They use a lot of blue and brown. Okay, so brown is earthy, it's an earthy color. Okay, and then blue is most likely is also symbolic, okay, perhaps of God, right? And there's a lot of calligraphy. Okay, look at all this calligraphy. This is all writing. This is all Arabic. Okay, they actually employed Arabic into the designs. I don't know what this means, but everything looks like patterns. Even the calligraphy. Look at all these patterns. A lot of repetitions, a lot of patterns here. Everything is a pattern. It's very, very. Everything is very chaotic, and at the same time very harmonious. Everything just fits right in. Okay, and here is here's a piece of calligraphy. Okay, this is all Arabic, and they turn it into something really visual and really something that looks like a pattern. Okay, and here is another example of Islamic patterns. Okay, so you have in this you see hexagons, and then you also see a star. Okay, and then you also see these T's, and then you see circles, and all of this is calculated and created, and it's just kind of mesmerizing. No matter where you like look at, okay, like depending on your visual familiarity of geometry, you will see different things. You can see a hexagon here. Okay, you can see a hexagon here. You can see a star right there. Okay, maybe you're only gonna see these diamonds or these triangles. So a lot going on. Oh, we even have stars. Okay, in the circles. All right. Okay, this is also Islamic. Here we have a bunch of squares. Okay, a bunch of squares, and then some other squares, and then we have all these like little distances between this square, and then this square, and this square. It starts to create these stars between them, and then there's these. It forms these this grid as well. So these grids and these squares, they create this 8-pointed star. Okay, and then we go a little further, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so this is a 12-pointed, 12-sided polygon right here, and then we have stars. Okay, and then we have different colors as well, and we see a hexagon there, and it's just really mesmerizing. Okay, and here we have an Islamic architecture. Even the architecture has a lot of repetition and patterns, repetition in the columns, repetition here, okay, in the arches. Okay, it's very it definitely looks infinite. Okay, it resembles, or it reflects God.